free mind. You crazy for this. Soulful. It's like our responsibility to make us feel something. You know, to make people feel what we feeling. Hey, yo.
Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is Comics Today, a show that we do on Wednesday to celebrate the best day of the week, that being New Comic Book Day. And hopefully many of you were able to make it out to your LCSs and or were able to pick up some awesome books. So shout out to you if indeed you did. And in a moment, I'm actually going to go to the chat to figure out what it is that you all may have picked up at your LCSs. If you read something really good that we should put on the top of our stacks, I want to know that. And I'm also going to talk about a giveaway that I'm doing. And I want to talk a little bit about a bunch of messages that I've been receiving from people about a video that I did on must-have Spider-Man comics. I have received more messages about this than anything else in a while, and we're going to talk about it ever so briefly. But as part of this show to celebrate New Comic Book Day, I typically have a guest or two on to help me to make sense of something happening in the world of comics and collectibles. And tonight we are going to have a guest that is going to come on and talk with us about an initiative that he is undertaking that I think is worthwhile. I am currently dressed in military green and camo, which is like one of my favorite things, to be completely honest. And it is very fitting given the thumbnail that I put up today, that being American comics, and the guest that is going to come on to spend a little bit of time talking with us. Tina is in the chat right now shouting out the fact that she picked up something super dope. She picked up Isolation issue number 1, a 9.8 CGC yellow label. It showed up today. It is pure dopeness. Let me tell you that. A lot of folks have been posting up their packages of Isolation, and I'm glad to have finally received those and been able to mail those out, and I'm glad that they are arriving at their final destination. None of this stuff does me any good unless it is actually with the people that placed the order for the stuff. So it's nice that this stuff is out of here. So let me do this real quick. Let me do the giveaway. So we are pre-selling right now, issue number 2 of Isolation on RegieCollects.com. As part of the sale, in an attempt to inspire people to place an order sooner rather than later, we are doing some giveaways. So if you go and comment on the live stream from Sunday, in which I spoke with Doug Bratton, the writer behind Isolation, you can simply be one of the lucky people that is randomly picked to get an ash can. So that is free with purchase, but there is also a purchase option. And if you place a qualifying order, which is defined as a purchase of $14 or more of an Isolation issue 2 between basically Sunday and Sunday, this coming Sunday, you can be in the running to win a couple of things. We're going to give away a couple of ash cans, which is something that you cannot buy. This is an ash can. I think it's the first 7 pages, I do believe, of Isolation issue number 1. Pretty dope prize. And we're also going to be giving away this right here. It is a CGC yellow label 9.6 triple signed of Isolation issue number 1. When you send in yellow labels, there is no guarantee that they will come back at a 9.8. And so I had a bunch of 9.8s and a single 9.6. So I decided, instead of trying to sell it, to basically give it away. So that's what we will do with that. And I'm randomly going to be picking the winners on Sunday. So you have time to make your purchase of $14 or more on RegieCollects.com and or to watch the live stream and leave a comment there. We're going to have a handful of winners that will be announced on Sunday at 7:30 as part of the Ready Set Go preview show. So make sure you tune in for that. All right. You can't go wrong with triple sign. You cannot go wrong with triple sign or ash can. I will tell you that there is a member of Patreon. There is a member of Patreon that has a copy of the ash can en route to them right now. If you are a member of Patreon, you know you get stuff. I throw extra stuff when you order things. I randomly mail things out. We do live streams just for Patreon members, and I decided to send one Patreon member an ash can. So stay tuned. That is going to be coming to a Patreon member soon, and I will not tell you who it is. So I released a video the other day in which I spoke about, wow, I just closed the wrong window. Wow, that I need that window back. I did a video in which I spoke about must-have comic books for Spider-Man. This was the second installment. The first one that I did was viewed by almost 7,000 people. The second one is, I think, around 2,300 or something like that. So it's doing pretty well. But I received a ton of messages either on that video or DMs or emails from people telling me that they disagreed with me. And I'm perfectly fine if people disagree with me, but I think they're all wrong. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that they're all wrong. So what's funny is the things that people were pushing back on me for, I actually don't even remember what I said, to be completely honest. I record videos, I edit the video, I schedule the video, I move on to other videos and other things in my life. I don't remember every single word that I utter, but I guess I offended a couple of people. And I want here in the live stream, and I also want in the comment section, if you are watching this on replay, I want you to comment and tell me if you agree or disagree. All right. So one of the books that I showed in this live stream or this video was this book right here. It is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 31. And I had people sending me messages telling me that this cover was gorgeous. This cover was striking. And I think that they're all wrong. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I think that this is not a gorgeous or striking cover. It's not exactly ugly, but it is not great. Let's be honest about that. 30 and 31, notoriously not good covers. Okay, it's not a good cover. But let's compare. Issue 20, that is a dope cover. This is not a dope cover. This is a dope cover, no doubt about it. Issue 20 of Amazing Spider-Man is striking in my mind. If you want to take it a step further, let's look at another one. The first Molten Man, issue number 28, maybe the first negative space comic, period, right? I don't have the best copy of it, as you can see, with all those spine ticks, but that's not a bad cover. Not a bad cover. Probably not a good cover, all right? Speaking of ASM 31, let's contrast it to another. Issue number 39. Now, that's Amazing Spider-Man issue number 39 is a dope cover. That is an iconic cover, no doubt about it. Peter Parker being told around by the Goblin, by the Green Goblin. Contrast those two covers, 31 and 39. Again, I don't know. You tell me which is the better cover, ASM 31 or ASM 39. You tell me which is the better cover. I think I know. I think I honestly know. Seth says that cover is gorgeous only if you have your eyes closed. At the end of the day, we're just having fun, man. It's all people's. I had somebody send me a message and they said, you are wrong. And I'm like, first of all, it's my opinion, so I cannot be wrong. It is actually impossible for me to be wrong. No one is wrong. It is personal preference. It is all personal preference. I will tell you about that. All right. What is that? Guess which comic won't get an homage? You are correct. An homage. I have to recorrect myself on the pronunciation of that word because I've been getting it wrong. I think that homage sounds better, but homage is atrocious. All right. The other book that people told me was a gorgeous cover, a striking cover, and I disagree. ASM 121. I mean, it is not a bad cover. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad cover, but gorgeous? Nay. Nay, says I, that is a gorgeous cover. Now let's contrast it. That was ASM 129 contrasted to ASM. I'm sorry, that was ASM 121 contrasted to 129. I think that that's a striking cover. Yellow covers, both of them in the 120s. I think that that's a striking cover. Let's take it a step further. I think that this too is a striking cover. Amazing Spider-Man 100. I think that that's a dope cover. Looking at Spider-Man Peter Parker's rear end, not necessarily striking to me. Unlike this one, unlike that one. Again, all personal preference. But again, sound off in the comment section and also in the chat if you think that 121 is a better cover than 129. Sound off in the comment section. I'm curious what people say. Oh my goodness, I agree on 129, says Philtastic. I'm telling you, again, I'm not saying that 121 is bad. I'm simply saying that it's not great. It's not great to me. It is not striking. It's a nice cover. It's a nice cover. It's got both of the women, Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane on there. I mean, everybody's on the cover. The Osbournes are there, you know, J. Jonah Jameson. It's not bad. What is that? Homage with a strong 8 sounds like a Scottish dish. Served in a sheep style. Oh my goodness, you are hilarious. Frog Brawler is trying to play the middleman. He says 129 and 121 are both great. It's all good. Hawaiian punch in your face. How you doing, brother? It is good to, and again, the Hawaiian punch in your face clearly has great taste. He clearly has great taste because he agrees 129 is where the magic is made. Oh my goodness. Hopefully, again, everybody knows that I'm just having a little bit of fun. Again, I started receiving messages from people and they were like, you know, this is wrong. I disagree. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Because I honestly did not recall the details of it. Anyway, I'm going to go to the chat real quick. If you were able to make it to your LCS today and you picked up some dopeness, I want to hear what it is that you picked up. If you read something that you thought was really solid, let me know what that is as well. I managed to get a couple of books from mycomicshop.com over the last few days. Venom 12 came in, ASM 12 came in, Thor 28, and then also Moon Knight issue 16. Those are the books that came into the house. 2 separate shipments, 2 books each. Some good stuff from mycomicshop.com. Fight the good fight. Yeah. Oh my goodness, you guys are hilarious. I picked up the new Deadpool #1, Secret Invasions #1, the Scotty Young variant, Batman and Joker embossed covers, and a host of back issues says fight the good fight. That's what's up. Mark, my Canadian brother, picked up Becoming Frankenstein 2, Black Panther 11, Punisher 7, Dogs of London 5, Hail to Pay 1, and Night of the Ghoul issue #2. Welcome to the internet. You're wrong. Well done. Well done. Turbo Todd, how you doing, brother? He said picked up Punisher 7 was the only grab. That's what's up. What is that? Dark Knights of Steel and Batman were both good reads, says Trev the shipping guru. That's what's up. Scrolling down, I did finally get my Nottingham 2 slab from Shortbox today. Just thrilled, says Steve. That's what's up. Congrats to you, brother. Amazing Spider-Man 252 double cover CGC 8.5 signed. That is not a new comic, but it is new to John, and to John we say congratulations. That's what's up. Crazy 8 Comics is asking who did the painting. Thank you. I appreciate when people recognize that it's a painting. For the first couple of years I had that thing, the question was who did the poster. That is done by Frog Boy. Frog Boy actually did that. He is on Instagram. I have at one point, shortly after I showcased his work, he was booked up for a solid year. His lead time was a year. I have no clue what his lead time is right now, nor do I know the cost, but I'm confident that somebody can give you an introduction to Frog Boy, one of the blue wrenches who are super dope at doing all the things that need to get done. I'm pretty confident they will help you out. Ian or Ian, I'm not quite sure which one. Spider-Man #1, the Mike Mayhew variants. That's what's up. There you go. There you go. Tina's on it. She is on it, man. Tina does not mess around. Frog Brawler, Batman 129, Batman and Joker, Beholds, Behemoth, Black Panther, Dark Knights of Steel, etc., etc. That's what's up. Nate made it. My man. How you doing, brother? Nate walked up to the table and just started talking to me, and it took me a second, and I made the connection. I was like, I know who you are, sir. Nate, it is good to see you, brother, as always. Hatumi, is that how you say that? I don't know how to actually say it. What's funny is I had the conversation with the writer, and I was like, I forgot to ask him the correct pronunciation of it. But TMX Comics picked it up. The Yuko Smith at JAF Comics in Bethlehem, PA. That's what's up. Good stuff. They were doing a signing, I think, at Baltimore Comic Con. I saw a bunch of stuff being signed. There he is indeed. Frog Boy. Frog Boy is indeed talented. Nah, no. Not to be confused. Kevin Pitts. Kevin Pitts is on the path to getting all the ASM 1 through 441. Not Jack Sparrow is giving a shout out of the books that he picked up. Again, shout out to all you guys that are making it out to the LCS week after week after week, picking up all these good books, supporting American comics. How about that? All right, so we're going to make a little bit of transition. Speaking of cons, I was at a con recently. And a guy walked up to the table and he handed me some awesome stuff. Handed me some awesome ash cans that he had put together at New York Comic Con. We had a wonderful conversation, took a couple of pictures, and he's doing some really cool stuff that I wanted to make you guys aware of. And I wanted to have him on the show to spend a little bit of time talking with me about what he's working on. And also, as I mentioned, to kind of share some of this stuff with you guys. And so I want to welcome to the show, Desmond. How are you doing, brother?
Good, sir. How you doing?
I am doing well, brother. I am doing well. I'm wearing my military green, my camo shorts. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I see that. I was originally I was gonna come out in my, like I do on Whatnot in my American hat, but I was like, nah, let me not go over the top on red. It's too early. So
I'm
I
gonna
had to
tell you,
go
man.
traditional.
I've played around with backgrounds and I've played around like dropping an American flag back there. It never quite works, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes just going with the traditional plane is okay. But Desmond, welcome to the show. I absolutely appreciate you making time to join me tonight. We had a chance to meet at New York Comic Con, and you gave me a set of your ash cans that essentially pay tribute to men and women that have served in the military. And I'm curious what it is that actually prompted you to create these ash cans dedicated to the military. Talk with me about that.
So originally, well, I'm a veteran myself. So I served, I did 4 tours deployed. I was a canine handler in the United States Air Force, highly, very decorated Air Force achievement, Army achievement medals and stuff like that. And, I love comic books. So last year, literally 1 year ago today. So this is our 1 year anniversary on Whatnot today.
Nice.
Uh, Adam and them came up to us and wanted to get us on the platform. And so I was like, we got on the platform. Me and mom were doing really good things. And I just saw, throughout the time, every time people would start popping in our chat, service member would come up or something, and they'd be like, "Boom! Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. I serve too." So we saw all these people, all these servicemen and women that we shared a connection with, and I was like, "We got to do something to bring them to the light." Bring them to the forefront. Because a lot of people don't know there's a lot of veteran creators and entrepreneurs in our comic community.
Yep.
Aaron Bartling, Garrett Gunn, Desmond Fair. Oh, I mean, I don't want to drop my names quick in there, but there's a lot of us out there, and that's all we really want to do is bring it to light. So, from my service, I felt like continuing to serve, and that's kind of how it came to fruition. And then we had our own comic book, so I was like, let's do this.
Yep.
Let's go all in. And then, of course, I gotta give my shout outs to Nate Made It, because without him, this wouldn't have been possible. So
Super talented dude, man.
oh my goodness.
And I became familiar with Nate because of the work that he does with Tom. And he's done some really cool stuff for like my guide for isolation. And so when I saw what he was doing on for you guys, it was very different from some of the other stuff that he's done, but it was really impressive. So huge shout out to Nate Made It, super talented guy. What I didn't realize, Desmond, and I don't know if folks know this, but you're essentially mom and sons, right? For
Real world mom and son, me and my mama. So first of all, let's back up. Mom and me we're doing this. So I gotta give shout out to mama. Mama, I love you.
So for those folks that don't know, Desmond is mom and sons. That's who that is, right? But what I did not know, Desmond, is that you were actually doing some really cool stuff with money out of your own pocket and also from the sale, the proceeds of the ash can. You've been doing some really cool stuff to support soldiers that are deployed and also displaced veterans. Can you talk a little bit about those activities that you have been involved in?
So initially, when we wanted to launch the Veterans Initiative, Veterans Assemble Initiative, we wanted to not only help creators and entrepreneurs in the comic community, but we also wanted to help our brothers and sisters who served or are serving. So we, in a sense, were like, how can we help our current service members? Through my past of being the Air Force A Society's podcast producer and multimedia producer, I kind of had that background in the nonprofit and raising funds and stuff like that. So I knew that was an avenue, but
Mhm.
you got to do big money there. We'll get there eventually. So we thought, okay, what did I love getting when I was deployed? Care packages. So I was like, oh, mom, we have like 200 long boxes here. Let's just put care packages together with comic books to send to our service members that are deployed.
Yep.
I'll reach out to a couple LC local comic book shops. Also, this book we just made. Let's throw some of those in there. Stuff like that, just to bring a little bit of our home comic collecting to the service members
Wherever they might be in the
wherever they
world.
might be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we actually have the thing where we're going to be adding a exclusive that only deployed members could get.
That's
So
cool.
that's going to be highly collectible in a sense from our veteran standpoint. So that was one of the things for our active service members.
Yep.
One of the things I seen, at the local VA
Mhm.
was that there's a lot of displaced veterans, homeless, down, they're on fixed income. So I went out of the way and basically bought storage units that had clothing in it before I even launched the book and stuff like
Mhm.
that, so that we could do a winter drive, because it's starting to get cold out here in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and basically launder these clothes, clean them up. Then somebody else said, "Hey, I want to throw in some socks and t-shirts because my friend's a fashion designer, so we're getting those." And then we're going to take those, package them all up, and just start giving them out to shelters that are housing homeless veterans
Yep.
and displaced veterans. But at the same time, we're also going to just share the love, because that's what we do with displaced human beings and
Yep.
homeless human beings in a sense. So those are the two things. We fully funded the comic book before we even started selling it, like
Yep.
on our own. That's
Yep.
that's kind of how we did, and then we start recouping so we can push to the next stuff. So
Yep. You hit on several things that I just want to talk about very briefly. I have been really surprised by the number of veterans that are into comics. And I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? I mean, if you serve, then you generally like things that are American, and comics are very American. And I've always been surprised by just how many veterans are associated with my own channel that I've had the pleasure of meeting. I had military people, I had retired police officers coming up to me at New York Comic Con introducing themselves. And it's just, I did not anticipate that when I started this years ago, just how many. But one of the things that I will say is that it what you are doing in terms of extending a little comfort to American service people that are deployed is wonderful. What you are doing to help provide clothing for displaced veterans is admirable, right? And that's one of the things that really surprised me about what you were doing is I didn't know. I just thought you were doing an ash can. I didn't know that the ash can was kind of sort of tied to some other bigger initiatives. And so that was a wonderful surprise for me as we began talking about it and started learning a little bit more about this stuff.
yeah, so the Veterans Initiative, in a sense, isn't just about reaching out, donating, and doing these things, because that's just a byproduct of what we're doing.
Mm,
We're really trying to empower the artists and entrepreneurs in our comic and collectible space and provide them with resources. So the only way to do that is, we have to raise funds. And I
yep.
said, okay, let's do books.
Yep.
Let's put books out that pay homage to our veterans. I'm using my crazy mind, linking up with Nate Made It, and he's doing his crazy stuff he does, and then we're just putting out fire books that I love and everybody else is starting to receive. And the biggest key about our book that's going to continue to grow over time is there are pages in this book
Mhm.
that are literally names of those who are serving, who
Mm,
have served, or are family members who have served. And we're going to continue to grow that every time we publish a book, because we still want to continue to show our appreciation
mm.
and continuance of the perseverance of these servicemen and women. That's That's the most important part. Like we have a comic book in there, you know, it's
Yeah,
our
yeah,
comic strip. But every time I'm talking about the covers or the names, and then everybody's like, "You need to talk about this comic strip," and I'm like,
yeah.
"I know, but it's."
And just to give a little bit of transparency, the book that you have now is not necessarily a military book. It is a comic strip that about your family,
Yes,
but it
sir.
has these wonderful military covers that pay tribute, if you will, to men and women that have served. So it's just important to know that you're not going to get a book and it's going to be a war story or a veteran story for right now. Maybe in the future it will be that, but for right now, it's just the wonderful covers that pay tribute to those that have served. But one of the cool things is that you have something on the horizon. Technically, you, Mom, and Nate, just to be clear, because somebody was like, "Don't forget Mom." There you
And
go.
Morpheus Multiverse, Last Boy Scout, Capcom, all my veteran brothers and sisters, our Military Monday squad and whatnot, we're all working together to make this come to
All, and
fruition.
I know several of them, and they are good. They are good people. One of them has at least been on this channel before. But you guys have something on the horizon because Veterans Day is coming up on November 11th. You guys have an initiative, if you will, that's going to be kicking off. Talk with me a little bit about this initiative.
So first, Reggie, let me let you be the first to hear. Our 501c3 filings were actually put in, so we are on our ways to being a fully 501c3 charitable organization or
Mm,
supportive organization, as I like to call it. Because as a veteran, it's like I don't want charity, I want to support. You know, um,
I respect that.
that's why
I
we're putting
respect it.
books out. You know, we're giving books for for stuff,
Yep.
and we literally, and because I came on the show with you today, we dropped our book ahead of time. So our book has been now dropped on our website on momandsonscomics.com. We have the Run the Tags um hip hop homage variant
Mm.
because every time I'm a hip hop head, I love audio, I love music. That's what I got a background in, and it's just awesome stuff. And we have our Veterans Day book that we did, which is basically the covers we had into two different covers. You know, so we put all six services on one cover in a certain facet, and we put all six services on another cover in a different facet, and then we put them out.
So
And
let's
we're
look at
about to
these real
drop them.
quick. So I want you
Yeah.
to talk about this. This is the one that you were talking about, which is all of the covers
Yes.
combined. Yes.
This is our spin wheel of the helmets of the service members right here. All six service branches are represented, including the Space Force and Coast Guard, as some people are like, eh. But hey, that's our brothers and sisters, and they're going to protect us just the same.
There you go. And let's look at the other cover. This is the hip hop cover that you spoke about, and both of these are by Nate. Yes.
Yes. So what you some people don't know is this is actually by Nate and me. So
Mm.
me and Nate are collabing on our hip hop covers. So basically, I put together the main meats and potatoes with the idea, and then Nate comes in and makes it a little bit more pretty to say because he has that skill. So this is my second cover that I did with Nate, and the first one was our Outcast homage. So I saw this, and this is actually real meta because I wanted to put something out that had a meaning to veterans, not just something cool. And I kind of put it out there because of it kind of represents like stolen valor,
Mm.
So this holding the chain, and then you got that spec op guy coming up behind, like I'm about to take that back, So,
Mm.
and then we have a back cover that nobody's seen yet, so it's gonna be
I'm
cool.
gonna tell you, brother. I watch a couple of videos on YouTube about stolen valor,
Mm,
and that is not where you want to be. That is not the action, right?
no,
I watched this guy call up this other guy and talk to him on the phone about because this guy was saying he was a SEAL, and I was like, dude, this is just not a good look for you. And I watch a lot of those because I think it's important that if you are trying to steal valor, that you be called out for that because you didn't make a sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know that that's what the meaning was behind this. So I find
I'm
that
all meta
interesting.
with all my everything that I do. I'm
Yeah,
really a deep thinker. And it's actually crazy that you mentioned that about those YouTube videos
yeah,
because me and Morpheus Multiverse, starting Veterans Day week, are going to be starting our YouTube lives where we're going to start talking about how to interact with veterans.
mm,
How to identify if a veteran's in one of those situations where they might need to, hey, back up from them, or hey, do you
yeah,
need me? Because I've been getting messages nonstop. Like I got one today about somebody that had a friend. They responded to somebody that took their life,
mm,
and he hit me up and said, can we do the 22 push-up challenge? And if most of you don't understand, every 22 minutes, it's a service member takes their life. And it's a statistic just based upon numbers over time. And that's really why anytime we put out a book, I pull all the 22s
Mm.
so that we can auction those off and put that money towards that charity as well. I mean, I have so many things that we're trying to get into just to support my brothers and sisters in the service and the veterans. And we're just getting started. We're
You're
just on the
doing
horizon.
You're doing some good stuff, brother. There is no doubt about it. You are doing some amazing stuff, and again, this was my way of contributing to what you're trying to do, was to have you on the show to talk a little bit about this. So you've made mention of 2 comics, 2 covers. They are the existing strip, right? So the story is different. It's the same story, right? The covers are different. You dropped these today. Are they available for sale where people can buy them from you guys right now?
They are officially open for pre-order on momandsonscomics.com. You'll find them. We have it where they're set up where you can get the sets, the bundles, all of them, metals, hollow foils, all kinds of craziness. And then just stay tuned because we might have some secret drop stuff that me and Nate constantly are working on. So yeah,
That's what's up.
they're really good, and it's dope.
There is a link in the description for people that want to support what you guys are trying to do. Desmond, again, brother, I want to thank you for your service. I want to thank you for what you continue to do. Shout out to all the other service people that you are working with and partnering with. Shout out to Nate Made It. You guys are doing some amazing stuff. And again, let me know if I can support you guys in some way.
Reggie, there's one more thing. We're going to be starting to host summits, and that was one of the biggest things, is to bring vets together, and we're going to try to, bring them together at the cons.
Mm-hmm.
So that we have like veteran things that going on along with the cons, safe space for veterans, because there's a lot of people in the cons. So that's one of the things we're really working, trying to get towards, so that we can be in person, meeting our veteran brothers and sisters, offering support. And anybody, if you're a veteran out there that needs support or you want to talk, you can reach out to me. Mama Sons Comics Instagram, Mama Sons Comics Facebook, Desmond Ferris Instagram. It doesn't matter. You find a way to get a hold of me. I'm there to talk to you. I'm there for you night and day. I'm up streaming on Whatnot. Like, we're streaming on Whatnot right now with the show. We're letting them know what's going on. But Reggie, before you let me go, I got one thing for you, brother.
Yeah.
So I got this, and I know it's like
That's
kind of
cool.
trying to. This is for you.
Oh, thank you,
So
brother.
this is all 6 of our original Ash Can covers, trade dress, along with the red, white, and blue blank sketch variants that we made. And this is like a mini shadow box that we do
That's
for
cool.
people that we serve with in the trenches with. So I appreciate you being in the trenches with me.
Oh man,
I'll
thank
get with you
brother.
afterwards, but this is for you because hey, you need some America on that wall. You know what I'm saying? We need some America on that wall. And I love your book,
that.
by the way. People are constantly asking me for it. So
Nah, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for that wonderful gift, and thank you for that surprise. And again, I hope your mom is doing well, brother.
She's doing a lot better, and we can't wait to meet up with you again too.
That's what's up. Let me know if you need something, okay?
Always.
Take care. All right. So shout out to Desmond. Again, I had a chance to meet him at New York Comic Con, and just awesome guy. He's doing some amazing stuff. And again, as I learned more about what these guys were doing, I was like, absolutely. He reached out. He was like, can I come on the show? I was like, we talked a little bit about it, and I was like, this makes perfect sense to try to tie it a little bit to Veterans Day and some of the things that are coming up. So again, huge shout out to Mom and Sons. There's a link in the description. Please try to show them some support, because again, they are doing some wonderful stuff. Who is that shouting out America? And again, let's be very clear. This is not about me being anti-Canadian or any other country. It was a setup for me to be able to talk about some real American stuff, men and women that have served and sacrificed for this country. And I couldn't think of anything else to do. So that's what I came up with. So shout out to all those guys, man. They are doing some wonderful stuff. All right. So let me go ahead and talk a little bit about somebody that was maybe not doing some wonderful stuff, but it was determined that he was free and clear. He did nothing wrong, so saith his jury of peers. So saith his jury of peers. Some of you already know what I'm talking about. we are getting closer to Stan Lee's 100th birthday. His 100th birthday, I think, is December 28th or something like that. And in the news today was Stan Lee's former business manager or partner, however you want to refer to him. He was acquitted. He was acquitted of all charges. He was basically accused of several things, elder abuse, stealing from Stan, et cetera, et cetera. He was actually acquitted. I think it was yesterday by kind of sort of a jury of his peers, but then also specifically the judge. This is not a good photo of him. This is not a good photo of him. I would probably look the same way if I was being held on charges. But Stan Lee's former business manager cleared of theft charges. This is from Reuters, and it says a Los Angeles judge cleared the former business manager of late Marvel Comics creator Stan Lee of grand theft charges on Tuesday, ending a 4-year criminal case that emerged in the final year of Lee's life. And it says that the judge dismissed 3 felony accounts against Morgan, who was 41, after a jury basically reached an impasse. They voted 11-1 in favor of acquittal. 1 juror felt like he was guilty. 11 of his peers felt that he was not. The judge dropped the charges in the interest of justice, and he was basically released. Prosecutors alleged that Morgan had stolen $222,000 of memorabilia in 2018, and a few months before Stan Lee passed away at 95 years of age. And again, there were some other charges, elder abuse and some other things. He was actually, those charges were dropped before the trial. And the thing about it is that a lot of people, when I posted this up, were saying that the guy was guilty, that he stole the money, et cetera, et cetera. A jury of his peers found him essentially innocent, and they actually showed some evidence in court that potentially the money actually went to Stan Lee's daughter. And if you guys remember, the last few years of Stan Lee's life were not good years. They were not good years. There were all kinds of accusations. There were all kinds of news reports of various things going on with this guy, but also with his daughter. And they showed evidence in court that potentially the daughter was the recipient of the cash and not this guy. But he dealt with this for 4 years. There was a 1-month trial. And at the end, he was essentially acquitted and let go. So my hope is that we can move beyond a bunch of the controversy that kind of swirled around Stan Lee in those last few years, and we can just remember the more positive aspects of his life, his career, et cetera, et cetera. So scrolling through some of the comments here, I think I'm all caught up as I look at this. A couple of people saying goodbye to folks. Scrolling. Richard's making a couple of comments here about ASM issue number 31 in Canada. I am not going to touch any of that. But again, I think that was a wonderful piece of news. Again, his jury of his peers found him innocent and decided to let go of those charges. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about, there's been a lot of questions, a lot of discussion about the Russo brothers actually coming back to direct a Marvel movie or 12, right? Comics by the Bay, welcome to the live stream. It does not appear that that's going to happen. And I think a lot of people were hoping that the Russo brothers would come back because of maybe some of the things that they've said, but also because of some of the successes that they've had with Marvel movies. I think potentially we now know that the Russo brothers are not coming back anytime soon. At least that's what some of the conclusions have been drawn based upon what they've said. So it says Avengers Endgame directors kill MCU fans' hopes for a phase 6 return. And this is an article that kind of highlights some of this stuff. Let me see if I can find the section. It says, unfortunately for their fans, the answer as delivered to Variety leaves little ambiguity. We're always talking. We'd like to see what would work. We won't be ready to do anything with Marvel until the end of the decade. And this is from one of the Russo brothers, specifically Joe Russo, one half of the Russo brother team, basically saying that it is not going to happen anytime soon. And so I think that, again, this is a little bit newsworthy because people were super excited about the possibility of having these guys come back. And it points out here that Avengers Endgame, which was released in 2019, brought in 2.7, well, technically $2.8 billion worldwide gross, which makes it the second all-time earning film worldwide, only surpassed by Avatar. That is quite a lot of money. That is a lot of money. $2.8 billion is a ton of money. And again, I think that because of the quality of what they did were working for the MCU and the success that they had, I think that that's part of the reason why people for years have been talking about the possibility of the Russo brothers coming back. There was a lot of discussion, I think, still about them potentially directing Secret Wars. And I think that they have personally, gone on the record saying that that's a movie that they want to direct. The challenge is when you have this type of success, your schedule gets booked up. And I think this article goes on to talk about some of the other things that these guys are working on, which interestingly enough, are projects that involve actors from the MCU. So I thought that was pretty interesting. My guess is that they had such a great time working with these people that they decided to bring them on in other capacities and other movies that they happen to be working on. So there's some news here. There's some news. Doug is super excited. Doug is super excited about this one. I sent him a post earlier today. There was an alert that was sent out on Key Collector app highlighting that a Twitter post had been taken down. A Twitter post that essentially confirmed that Sandman season 2 was going to happen. I sent that to Doug, and now he is reporting to me that CBR has confirmed a season 2 of Netflix. Season 2 of Sandman is coming to Netflix. There were a lot of people that posted up comments saying that that was never going to happen. I've covered a lot of the Sandman news that has come out. There were a lot of people that posted up comments saying that it was not going to happen. And according to Doug and according to CBR, it is going down. It is going down. So let's go Sandman number 2. What I will tell you is that you may potentially want to go back and check out some of the Sandman podcast, or some of the Sandman blog posts that Doug has written, also some of the videos that I've done on Sandman, because if there is indeed a season 2, there are some really awesome books that we've highlighted in those blog posts and those videos that you potentially want to pick up for less money if you happen to be a Sandman fan, or if you still want to do some speculating at this point. Mark is shouting out that the Russo brothers are working on Sandman. Don't stir the pot, my friend. Don't stir the pot. Let me see. I'm scrolling through some of these comments here. I think I'm all caught up. Here you go. Breaking news: Netflix renews Sandman for second season. I think that one of the posts one of the reels that we did for Instagram highlighted that there was a crazy amount of watch time. They actually cited in their quarterly report the number of watch hours or minutes. I can't recall which number they used, but they cited in their quarterly performance review how many hours or time people had spent watching Sandman, and we took that as a sign of their commitment, right? Because they highlighted very clearly right up there with Stranger Things, which is a huge show for Netflix. So we now have confirmation that Sandman season 2 is indeed going to be going down. So there you go. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Comics by the Bay, welcome. I think I welcomed you already. Joe is up in here. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Scrolling through, we might have a few more super secret Sandman books to share. I will tell you, I was a little disappointed that they released that cat episode, that surprise cat episode, because we had that in a script for probably a month before I actually recorded the video, and I recorded it. They released the episode before I could actually release the video to people, so I was a little upset about that one. So but did Sandman do better than Joe Exotic? Yeah, no, I'm not touching that one. 365 million hours. How many were yours, sir? How many of those hours were yours is the question. So another thing that has been in the news as of late, specifically with Netflix, is Superman. The guy that has now come back as Superman after saying that he was done with Superman, Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill's Witcher exit was spurred on by major creative differences, so says CBR. And that is not a good picture of The Witcher. I will tell you, I personally did not enjoy the show. I started watching it. I watched several episodes and then I kind of gave up on it. But there was a lot of discussion over the last maybe week and a half or so about why it is that Henry Cavill may have left Witcher. Some people were speculating that it was because of his new contract, if you will, and the work that he's going to be doing with Warner Brothers as Superman again. And then, we now find out potentially that he has been replaced on the project due to creative differences. I think that he is a real fan of the source material. At least that's the supposition of this article, is that he's a real fan of the source material, and the writers and the showrunners were not fans of the source material. It actually pointed out that they spoke negatively about the source material and wanted to deviate. Some of the writers were not, or actively dislike the books and the games, even actively mocking the source material. And so Henry Cavill was sending all kinds of notes to the showrunner, and he was making recommendations, at least again, according to this article, to basically try to bring to life the original source material and to pay tribute to that source material, where the writers and the showrunner wanted to kind of deviate from that. And so potentially we now know why he wanted to walk away or to move on from this, is because they weren't doing it justice. And again, as a creative person, you kind of have to respect somebody trying to draw a line, and he clearly has drawn one. So there you go. Wanted to again kind of share that with you guys. Trev says he thought it was great. Again, everyone has personal preferences, and neither one of us is wrong, but I think I'm more right than Trev. Joe says Witcher is pretty good, not great, but I'll watch it. Let me see. I'm scrolling through some of the comments here. Yeah, were there vampires? Wait a minute. Were there vampires in there? If there's vampires, I will give it a second go. I will give it a second go for a vampire. What is it, Reg? You have to watch till the second to last episode of the season. No, thank you. No, thank you. That's I don't know how many episodes there are, but that sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot to wait for it to make sense. Trev says I can watch Henry Cavill in anything. Phil, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Reg, do you read ASM currently? I have not read ASM in a while. I read parts of the last run by Nick Spencer that I did not enjoy. I've read a few issues of the current run. I'm not the biggest JR fan, to be honest with you, from an art standpoint. So no, I still buy them because I have all of the ASMs, but I have not been reading it. What am I reading right now? I'm reading some old stuff right now. I went back and I started reading Gargoyles the other day, and I'm rather enjoying that. I've started reading Daredevil again, what is it? The Born Again. I think it's the Born Again story arc for Daredevil, because I wanted to get into Daredevil. And I'll tell you, I think it's like the Born Again story arc. I don't remember what issues it is, but it is a sad Matt Murdock. Super sad Matt Murdock. And you guys that read Daredevil may know exactly which issues that I'm talking about, but super sad stuff. Scrolling through, did you get to watch Near Dark? Let me write that down. No, I didn't watch that. What did you say? Near Dark? Near Dark. I went back and I watched over this last 2 weeks or so 3 or 4 different vampire movies, and Near Dark was not one of them. So I may have to look for that one. Scrolling through some of the comments here. There you go. He did indeed. scrolling through. Okay, I think I'm all caught up. All right. So again, I want to give a huge shout out to Desmond from Mom and Sons for coming on the channel, for talking with me a little bit about some of the initiatives that he and his team are undertaking. I think that they're doing some really good stuff. Again, there's a link in the description. If you guys have not yet had a chance to pick up your copy of Isolation, it is available for pre-sale on regiecollects.com. We are working aggressively to get issue 2 out to you guys before the end of November. Holiday is in there. We had the printer with the roofs blown off, but we are working to try to make some magic happen. And again, if you are interested in coming to GarageCon, which is a con here at my house, which is on November 19th, let's just say that there could be some surprises in store for you guys if you are able to make it here. All the information for GarageCon and Isolation issue number 2 are available on regiecollects.com for you guys. All right. With that said, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. As always, if you need to reach out to me for any reason, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.
My body ate itself until it found this passion. They got fat while we starved, but it's power in fasting. Until I turn to ashes, I remain stoic through my rap heroics. I painted 10,000 poems, then I drank the potion of poetry and motion. I started choking, it was potent. My throat chakra downloaded, knowledge hungry. I was embarrassed I could ask my parents for money when I had a full tummy. So I asked for wisdom, better than crypto, sweeter than honey. I don't take it for granted, I don't wear capes